Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you're new to this, definitely subscribe. I also urge you to read the description. I'll leave notes there, maybe keynotes. I'm gonna try to knock this video out on my lunch break. But all right, planning your trip to Brazil. I couldn't tell you the date, 2024. It was this year. But things that I originally bought the flight I bought it on Valentine's Day. Just by myself, and I mean whatever. But well, actually, I think I'd always wanted to go see the Eiffel Tower in Paris, right? And I think just as I've gotten a little older, it just it's lost its kind of excitement for me. So I just thought something as a kid that just seemed so unimaginable, just so fake to just see, was the Christ statue and the Eiffel Tower. And then there's the Jesus, it's God and the angel touching. It's the Sistine Chapel in Italy. They're touching finger. I need to see that. It's on the bucket list one day. Christ Redeemer, the statue. So how it ended up coming up, I don't know, but it was Valentine's. I just had all this time to myself, and I just mapped it out. I just planned it out. I don't think I'd get into how I did all of that. I think that just take a lot of time, or just something I'd just share in person. So anyways, a few things that I just try to note down here. I got my notepad here with me. But because it was February and the flight was for March, I think Brazil was requiring a visa starting April 2024. So the visa is going to be required again. So I said, all right, although it's not hard to get, you need a visa to go to Brazil, but at that time I didn't. So I was like, why not? Might as well go. Of course, you need a valid passport. So definitely two huge things. After that, everything else is kind of laid back. But you don't really need cash. You could just go up to a bank and take money out and get they're called reals. I forget what they're called. But yeah, so you can use your debit card anywhere. You can just tap. There might be a higher chance of getting your information stolen. So if you're trying to purchase something from the beach, which even then I wouldn't, you can use your card. So that's kind of cool. You're gonna need those wall socket plugs. So Brazil, they have it's the 3 holes, right? Like the vertical or the horizontal. They're 3 holes, and you can also use the 2. It's a 2 socket, and then there's the 3-prong one, right? The 2 is, I think, more prominent in the European countries, from what I've seen. But I would just get them off of Amazon. They're really not too expensive. I ended up getting the 3 and the 2, but it looked like the 2 was fine. But I would just take them. I was fortunate that the hotel I was at, they ended up having a whole bunch of them. But turns out I ended up staying this really it was a 5-star resort right off the beach, and so I was really, really lucky, and they had some there. So which I don't think I'd recommend an Airbnb there, but you can't take your chance on not having that, or hoping that wherever you're staying is going to have it. Then at the airport or wherever, you're just gonna be paying twice as much, so it's really not worth it. At the time when I went, it was March, right? 2024. However you verbalize that, the currency exchange is 20 cents to $1, the US dollar. So for instance, from the airport, Rio de Janeiro, right? So from Rio de Janeiro airport to Ipanema Beach, it's 87.90 reals, which turned out to be, I think, $14. So I might have my hotel might have been 2,000 or 1,500 reals. I forget what it was, but it was really just $500. So it was cheap. I was just you're just living lavish out there. You're just okay, whatever, And I would recommend a kind of something you can it's like a body wallet almost, that you can put on your neck, have it under your shirt. When I went to the soccer game, I kind of had I had it tied around my waist and under my shorts, so it was hidden, because it started raining and I took my jersey off and I just didn't want to be walking.
Yeah, once you get out there, I love that shit.
vlog, bro. You're a very unsuccessful YouTube vlogger. Just like piece of advice is you want to be like undercover damn near like as much as possible. Which even then I didn't blend in, but there's like the question of like, okay, I don't really know, like you might be from around here, right? But like your typical person, like your skin color is gonna just say it all. So either American or European, like you're kind of doomed. But it's just, I think it's just about anywhere, like you want to be very, very respectful, like gentle, I guess. There's like this huge perception, and probably like everywhere in the world, but they see American and it's like, oh, Americans can just buy their way with whatever, so they don't have to talk to a lady with respect. They feel, because a lot of them portray this, but like American comes up and is like, oh, you're just like, it's expected that you're gonna have sex with me because I have money. Like that's like the common kind of feeling, right? So like that's at least if you're American. And from all the stuff that I had, like I spent so much time, because you're going like, and I went by myself, so all this stuff that you look up, right? But that's kind of like a common theme. So regardless where you're from and that you're visiting, you want to be very, very respectful. Your dress attire, so the way you dress, you want to be, like I said, like conservative. You want to be very I wrote down quiet clothing. You don't want anything loud, anything flashy. You don't want any like, you know, hanging, dangling jewelry. You do not want to draw any attention to yourself. Like rings, bracelets, none of that. Necklaces, it's gonna just get snatched, or I wouldn't want to say kidnapped, but it's a possibility, you know. It's like, right, like the hood, right? The hood part, like where there's like no kind of regulation, there's no police. It's like the favelas, right? Like they don't have, I think it was like working electricity. They don't have like regulated, they don't have plumbing. They're just like little makeshifts, little homes, I guess, you know. And so like you get taken over there, like you're done for, you know. And so hopefully that wouldn't. And again, if you go up in there causing issues and kind of just being like kind of hot shit, whatever, then yeah, your ass gonna just get taken up in there. And so like if you're at the beach, and a lot of time you'll just see there's like these herds of kids that'll just come and they're just grabbing all these phones, and there's so many of them, but they just end up running into the favela, and you can't, like, because then you go in there trying to chase them. It's like, all right, no, like now you're kind of in their hood, and you're where there's no like police, there's no government there, and so you can easily just get blasted there, right? You just get killed, whatever the case is. So a little dangerous, yeah. So dress quietly, for sure. Like no sports attire, like no jersey, just nothing that would just, like I would say, just no brand stuff, but just kind of like gym stuff, you know. Because a lot of time you can just like take your shirt off and you're at the beach, whatever the case is. There's no loud clothing. Oh yeah, and then no phones at the beach. Like unless you have someone that's gonna be hanging out with you, or you got a group or something like that, no phones at the beach. Like don't even do it, don't risk it. And people also recommend taking a burner phone. You can, right? Like, because people kept saying like it's really likely you're gonna get your phone stolen, or it's really likely that that's like the common theme, like take a burner phone. But I was just like, no, like I wouldn't say it was an ego thing, but I just felt like I felt secure and confident as like a man to just be like, my phone isn't going anywhere, and I'll be smart with it. And I was like, everything was fine. So if you're, another thing about your phone, you should not just be like kind of casually, you know, like let's say you're walking at the mall and you're just kind of just like flipping through your phone. You don't want to do that. I didn't go to any mall, but you do not want to be doing that, even in the tourist area, like on the strip of the beach, right? Like, because there's like the concrete, and then like further off there's the actual sand. But at no point should you just ever be flipping through your phone and just not knowing your surroundings. Like Brazil was exhausting, kind of.
Correr com muita grana, não pergunte, solamente formas, tá bem? Aposte-se, por favor. Pronto, filho.
Embaixo do coluna, ok. No trapézio, ok. Escrogadas, cabelo, ok. Capacetes calçados, ok.
Pode levantar-se? Stand up, please. Behind back. Okay, hold this.
Your name?
Christian.
Christian, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Sí.
You need to running fast in this direct, okay?
Okay, por la esquina, ¿no?
Sí, 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 por favor. ¿Está listo?
Sí. Yeah.
Levántese. Mira a frente. Levante la cabeza, mira a frente. Corre rápido, ¿está bien?
Sí.
¿Listo?
1, 2, 3, ¿verdad?
Sí, por favor, mira a frente, venga junto. 1, 2, 3, corre duro. Vamos, 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 vamos. Sí, por favor, mira a frente, venga junto. 1, 2, 3, corre duro. Vamos, 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 vamos. Perfecto. Yo estaba con miedo de ustedes.
Because I was by myself and you just had to be on high alert like at all times. So like I wrote it down, but your Uber, if your Uber has their window down because there's no AC, like a guy had told me and I didn't even realize it, but a guy's like, hey, like he just kind of said, like he just kind of put out his phone, he just like did that. I was like, oh shit, and then I noticed my window's open. But it is very, very common that your phone gets snatched up from your hand while you're in an Uber, and it's like it'll be some guys that are on a motorcycle or on a bike or whatever the case is, they'll just run up to the window and snatch your phone and just run off, because like they don't really have, like some of the natives might have an iPhone. An iPhone over there is like huge. Like they might have, I think they're on 3G right now, their network, right? We're on 5G, you know. And oh, real quick, I think my phone did end up working. I have T-Mobile. There's a loophole. Just make your phone calls, like anything related, just do it on WhatsApp. Use your you can call with like a regular phone call, a regular text message. Yeah, it works, but it's just really expensive. So the loophole is like a good amount of places might have Wi-Fi, especially like your hotel, hopefully, right? But just do it all on WhatsApp. And if you don't have WhatsApp, the loophole around that is just do FaceTime. So there's like a guy I met out there, and we would FaceTime each other, and because it's using the internet, it's not so much like actual phone call. And I cannot stress it enough, be really careful with your phone. Another thing, if you're going out, a lot of the places have like outdoor seating. Do not sit on the perimeter. Like I guess they allow people to solicit, I guess. Well, pretty much there'll be like people that are like selling stuff, and if it's not people trying to sell you stuff all the time, either at the restaurant, the beach, just anywhere, like poor people, like homeless people come up to you, and like I was eating, and this probably a girl that was like younger than my age, but she was just like trying to sell me something. I said no, and then she just kind of said that, and it was like my leftover, but it was just like, yeah, sure, you could have it, and she gladly took it. And there's that. Don't sit in the perimeter, just try to sit inside of that little, if it's a square, right, try to sit more inner, because they're not going to come inside and then the people at the restaurant's not going to say anything. They're just fine with it. So there's that. If you're going to look for like a tour guide, if you're going to do any activity, yeah, TripAdvisor, all that stuff helps, but it was kind of messed up, which it's maybe unethical. Try to see if you can just find that person or that whoever it is. Try to find them on Instagram. A lot of time they do have an Instagram. From there, you get their WhatsApp. You message them and say, hey man, like, what do you run? What's the rate for this? So like my hang gliding, I paid like half the price. I think I ended up paying $160 as opposed to $350. And because TripAdvisor guys to get their cut too, right? So like, I don't know, like it was just it's pretty messed up, but I just found the person that was gonna hang glide, and it was successful. Like I didn't die, I was fine, and it was literally the same business. His business was on TripAdvisor, but I contacted him directly, and he was like, yeah, like pull up, you know. And then Chrysler Redeemer, I mean, I would love to give that guy's info out. I could probably put it in the description, sure. Again, read the description. Like if you haven't already, read it now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like you should do it now and put the little bell alert thing on. Anyways, that guy was so, I think I ended up contacting him through his Instagram directly, and I ended up oversleeping because my phone, I don't know, it was a long story, but this guy ended up like waiting for me, and I was pretty much screwed, but this guy waited for me. Super cool guy. But I'll talk about the Christ Redeemer thing later. But yes, try to contact them directly. May not always work wherever you travel, but it worked in this case, so that was cool. Got to save a whole bunch of money. I was so close to doing a helicopter tour, like for dirt cheap. Like in US dollars, there's gonna be like $500-600 to just go. And I think I got it for like $200, but they ended up, I think, because other parties canceled, it was too expensive to just let me ride alone. So I was going to pay for solo to just ride in a group, and that would have been pretty cool. Helicopter tour. I was looking forward to that. Didn't happen. I used Expedia from a hotel. Again, if you're going to be looking to stay somewhere, you should always stay in like a kind of a touristy area. Like look up your area that you're kind of like, it just, whatever city you decide, because of price, whatever, like just be sure that you look like what's the common theme or whatever the case is. Like I know it's gonna be expensive to just stay right at the front of the beach. Like I looked at the window and I could just see my beach. I could just walk out, you know, but maybe not everybody can do that. So just be really careful where you're staying. I didn't go out. I didn't want to go out by myself, and the music's different, whatever, like everything's different. I just had no desire. It's really, really likely to get drugged out there, to get roofied, unfortunately. And when you wake up and all your shit's gone, like that's very, very, very common, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So just be really careful about if you're gonna go out. Like if you're gonna go out, make sure you watch them make the drink and never leave your drink unattended. But even then, like people have eyes on you at all times. So it's like, oh, that guy's not from here, you know, or that group, whatever. Just be really careful there. But yeah, my hotel got it off Expedia. That was really stressful to pick because you're trying to find your best bang for your buck. And you think about, if I stay here, what all can I walk to, right? Almost done here. Drinks, yeah, just if you're gonna drink, definitely do them at a restaurant. There's gonna be people coming up to you on beaches trying to sell you stuff. It's gonna be not the best quality, it's gonna be watered down, but just wherever you're going, people are gonna be trying to sell you stuff all the time. And then Portuguese, so I kind of got by on just like Spanish. And like I'd say it's Spanish, kind of maybe slowly, kind of like loudly, and like they could kind of make out what I'm saying. You know, when I was at the restaurant, I just kind of like be like, you know, that. A few times, they'll ask you like, hey, do you want English, Spanish, or like do you want to do like a regular Portuguese menu? And I would just say Spanish, you know, or sometimes I did English. But I think you can get by on. I didn't know any Portuguese. I did know just how to say no. Good morning is bom dia. Yeah, bom dia is good morning, and thank you is obrigado. Like obrigado. So there's that. But if I think you could get by, but I think it's always polite. But it was just all so sudden, and I didn't learn anything. So I think it's respectful. It helps. It really helps. But that's pretty much all that you would need. I think the rest of the video would just be more about my experience and just kind of like a brief overview of that. But if you watch just like the advice video part of the video, thank you. But I guess my experience overall,